not just movie titles. You know, we mentioned earlier, motion design exists anywhere there is a screen. But that's not always the case, actually. It actually exists in many, many places where there aren't any screens. And it's usually pretty prevalent in sci-fi movies. Holograms, things floating in the air, cool stuff like that. You can have motion design projected into thin air with holograms both on the movie, in the screen, and in real life now. Holograms are not just a sci-fi kind of trick. In the movies now, you know, they're with the advent of incredible technology, holograms are real to this day. You know, back in 1977, this was purely a fantasy. But now, this is a reality, and it looks even better than this. This is monochromatic, it's blue, doesn't have a whole lot of detail. Today's holograms are just really advanced and amazing. What does this mean? Well, we're going to need even more of you. We're going to need even more artists, designers, directors, producers to populate the future with more and more creative messages, creative stories, and creative places to actually convey that message and information to people. Let's take a look at some contemporary examples of what we're talking about here. Avatar, huge hit, 2009. They got a bunch of movies coming out. Sequels, 2009 epic science fiction film written and directed by James Cameron. We've talked a lot about him already with Titanic and Aliens. Famous for his use of motion captured CGI. Obviously not the first movie to use CGI extensively, but one of the best. What is often overlooked, of course, besides, of course, the cool characters and the environments, which we'll talk about a little bit later, is the prodigious and incredible use of motion design and graphics in the movie. Here's some before and after shots of some of the things that we're talking about here. Here is the original plate. And when you're shooting when you're shooting the plate and you plan to put holograms or graphics in there like this, you really want to make sure that you are getting the lighting just right. They knew ahead of time that they were going to have like a big tree and it's going to be mostly green. So you're going to have a green light, as you can see right down here in the corner, projecting light on top of the actors. And then once you actually cut this out, take away the light, maybe paint in any fixes that need to be done in the plate, and then it looks like the hologram is contributing light to them. So lighting is pretty important. This one's a tricky one because of the curved nature of the screen. So you really got to figure out, you know, what this thing is going to look like. And this is interesting to note also that back there, it looks like there's a few screen replacements that are going to happen, but it looks like they're actually populating a lot of the screens back there with maybe just some dummy information screens. And that goes a long way, because if it's in the far background, you don't want to have to populate a ton of screens with a lot of roto, with people moving in front of them, when you could just put one screen, even a static image, and then once you put the other information in front of it, you may not even notice, that it's just a non-moving image. And if it's in camera, you don't have to work on it. Obviously, the ones over here, they keyed out. The blue was replaced, but the lion's share of the work, obviously, is this really cool curved screen that they use. Here's another example of that green table. Looks more like a poker table, kicking out that green light all over the place, and then the additional elements added to it. Now, keep in mind, here's the original plate. She's going to be standing in front of it. There's no green screen here, and you can't have one anyway, because you need this information in the movie back there, him and the walls and stuff like that. So someone has to go in and rotoscope all that. The tricky part, of course, is all the hair and the motion blur and stuff like that. And when you put it in there, as you can see, it did get a little crunchy perhaps in here, which is just fine because no one's going to notice that. And all of this stuff, this graphic design and motion design is not typical of your average VFX artist. You're going to call in specialists to do this. You're going to call in dedicated motion designers that have training in actual graphic and animation design. A VFX artist usually works on trying to make something look real, not so much like building out new UIs or languages or holograms or interfaces and stuff like that. Those are specialty jobs in visual effects. Battleship 2012. You know, you don't need motion graphics in your film just for HUDs and holograms. You can exploit the discipline to further explain and enhance the story. And the reason I mention this movie isn't so much that, you know, there was a lot of great water technology built for it from ILM and stuff like that. But what's really kind of nice about this movie is a great use of the motion graphics at the beginning of the film to tell the story. If you have basically what amounts to infographics, animated infographics, talking about an invasion or whatever you need to show, you're doing it at an incredibly cost-effective manner. You don't have to literally show the aliens invading Earth in a photographic, photoreal sense, which is going to be expensive, time-consuming. You could do it with something like this approach, and it's an incredible cost-saving measure. And it gets you caught up in the story as quickly as possible, so then you can jump into the actual meat of the story, the things that you want to talk about, and not just give, you know, a long, you know, introduction to how we got here. So it's kind of a nice use of that as well. Pretty cost-saving measures and expositional elements. Iron Man 2 came out in 2010. Holograms, motion graphics to the extreme. Everybody knows that Tony Stark is just a madman when it comes to his workshop. From heads-up displays to unnaturally responsive real-time 3D interfaces, Tony Stark is augmented as much by stunning graphics as his trademark power suit. Graphics by Prologue from Venice, California. Great thing about Tony Stark here is his basically his workshop, I guess, his layer of productivity, is as we look through this for Iron Man 2, Prologue lifted screen design elements off of flat surfaces and into the three-dimensional world that surrounded Tony Stark. And as he struts through his secret lab, you know, a virtual world of swirling data and wireframe plans pop forth from his fingertips. And this isn't just gratuitous CG bells and whistles. I mean, it looks great, of course, but this is more to show the genius of the character. We're trying, you know, the story people are trying to say, this isn't just your typical inventor. Tony Stark is a super inventor, super intelligent person that just needs all this data around him, you know, to get his vision to the screen. So this is to show the genius of him. This is not only is a master crime fighter, a master inventor, apparently he's also a master of Adobe products as well. You know, I guess they don't really show, you know, when he's not on a mission, and maybe he's at home in After Effects and Cinema 4D kind of creating all these graphics. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure his AI systems do that for him, right? But these stills really don't do these designs any justice. Let's take a look at some of these great user interfaces in action.
Wake up, Daddy's home.
Welcome home, sir. Congratulations on the opening ceremonies. They were such a success, as was your Senate hearing.
Wake up, Daddy's home.
Welcome home, sir. Congratulations on the opening ceremonies. They were such a success, as was your Senate hearing. And may I say how refreshing it is to finally see you in a video with your clothing on, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Simulation 486 has also failed. Sir, you are suffering from palladium poisoning. Your condition is approaching terminal.
Is this a joke? What are you thinking?
What?
What are you thinking?
Hey, I'm thinking I'm busy and you're angry about something. Do you have the sniffles? I don't want to get sick.
Did you just
Keep your
donate
business.
our entire modern art collection to the
Boy Scouts of
Boy
America.
Scouts of America?
Yes, it is a worthwhile organization. I didn't physically check the crates, but basically, yes. And it's not our collection, it's my collection. No offense.
No, you know what? I think I'm actually entitled to say our collection, considering the time that I put in over 10 years curating that.
It's a tax
Yes.
write-off. I needed that.
You know, there's only about 8,011 things that I really need to talk. Is this a joke? What are you thinking?
What?
What are you thinking?
Hey, I'm thinking I'm busy and you're angry about something. Do you have the sniffles? I don't want to get sick.
Did you just
Keep your
donate
business.
our entire modern art collection to the
Boy Scouts of
Boy
America.
Scouts of America?
Yes, it is a worthwhile organization. I didn't physically check the crates, but basically, yes. And it's not our collection, it's my collection.
Oh, no. You are not taking down the Barnett Newman and
I'm not
hanging that
taking
up.
it down. I'm just replacing it with this. Let's see what I can get going.
Okay, fine. My point is, we have already awarded contracts.
I've actually given this a fair amount of thought, believe it or not.
Query complete, sir. Anton Vanko was a Soviet physicist who defected to the United States in 1963. His son, Ivan, who is also a physicist, was convicted of selling Soviet-era weapons-grade plutonium to Pakistan and served 15 years in Kopiask prison. No further records exist.
See the cigar box? Yeah. Periodic table?
Right here.
Rendering periodic table, sir.
When did our saga last leave us?
485 simulations.
Let's try cerium. And dysprosium. Well, at least it's gotta work. Empty shell? Initiate.
Initial biological compatibility appears promising.
Periodic table?
Right here.
Rendering periodic table, sir.
When did our saga last leave us?
485 simulations.
Let's try cerium. And dysprosium. Well, at least it's gotta work. Empty shell? Initiate.
Initial biological compatibility appears promising.
Hey, you! Don't worry about that. I got 22 ounces of that garbage right here. And if you break it, I swear to God, I'll dismantle you, I'll soak your motherboard, I'll turn you into a wine rack. Move it. How many buildings are there?
Am I to include the Belgian waffle stand?
That was rhetorical, just show me. Huh. Mark the pavilions red. Yeah, that's good. Let's do some color coding. Color code every causeway, footpath, tram, restroom, waffle, shack, everything. And anything with a concrete wall. Oh. Uh-huh. What does that look like to you, Jarvis? Not unlike an atom. In which case the nucleus would be here. Lose the footpaths. Get rid of them.
What is it you're trying to achieve, sir?
I'm discovering, correction, I'm rediscovering a new element, I believe. Lose the landscaping, the shrubbery, the trees, parking lots, exits, entrances. Structure the protons and the neutrons using the pavilions as a framework. Not unlike an atom, in which case the nucleus would be here. Lose the footpaths. Get rid of them.
What is it you're trying to achieve, sir?
I'm discovering, correction, I'm rediscovering a new element, I believe. Lose the landscaping, the shrubbery, the trees, parking lots, exits, entrances. Structure the protons and the neutrons using the pavilions as a framework. Dead for almost 20 years. Still taking me to school. Thanks, Dad. Mark 6, front and center. Dead for almost 20 years. Still taking me to school. Thanks, Dad. Mark 6, front and center. At least it's gotta work. Empty shell.
Sir, the structure your father proposes would appear at the high end of the periodic table.
Yeah, listen, you have a ball with that. I know it's gonna work. I'm gonna take a shower. Now the easy part. We have an atom to make. How do we do it?
Sir, the structure your father proposes would appear at the high end of the periodic table.
Yeah, listen, you have a ball with that. I know it's gonna work. I'm gonna take a shower. Now the easy part. We have an atom to make. How do we do it?
Incoming call with a blocked number, sir.
Phone privileges reinstated. Lovely.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Travis, where is he?
Tracing source of incoming call. Eastern Seaboard. Tri-state area. Manhattan and outlying boroughs.
Sounds good. Let's get together and hash it out.
I hope you're ready.
Call trace incomplete.
That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far.